Welcome and good evening. On behalf of Melanie and Eric and their families, I welcome you all to this splendid and gorgeous day. It is because of all of you here today, this strong, nurturing community of friends and family, that Eric and Melanie's relationship has strengthened and grown, leading them to this very moment. It's no accident that you were invited here today. Each of you are important in the individual and collective lives of Eric and Melanie. The Reedy and Sutton families are deeply grateful for your attendance. Thank you all for being here. I believe I've met most of you, but I am Dennis Perkle, a longtime neighbor and a good friend of the Reedy family. My wife Kay and I had the wonderful catbird seats across the street from them, watching the Melanie and Jessica grow up, and the fine young ladies they've become today. I'm also a St. Thomas College grad, not a U, and I hold that connection with Melanie as well. And eventually, when Melanie thought it was right for us to meet Eric, we got to know Eric as well. I'm very honored to be officiating what I call the most momentous event in your lives. So, marriage is perhaps the most challenging adventure of human relationships. No ceremony can create your marriage. Only you can do that through love and patience, through dedication and perseverance, through talking and listening, supporting and believing in each other, through tenderness and laughter, through learning to forgive and learning to appreciate your differences, by learning to make the important things matter and letting go of the rest. What this ceremony can do is to bear witness and affirm the choice you make to stand together as life mates and partners. Your journey began long before you printed your invitations, chose this beautiful venue where we are here today, and even decided to spend the rest of your lives together. Your journey began the moment you first met. You put in the effort to learn what makes the other person smile, what makes them laugh, and how to support them when life is less than simple. You welcome each other as families, communities, and lifelong friends, and join them together with warmth and enthusiasm. Eric and Melanie are pleased to have their parents front and center, close to them for their wedding ceremony. Melanie thanks her mother and father for providing her with every opportunity possible and being the best parents anyone could hope for. Eric appreciates all the love and support his parents have given him over the years as well. Now I'd like to invite Eric's mother, Lisa, up to share a reading that Melanie and Eric have chosen for today.
Reading from Romans. Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourself.
That was nice and succinct and to the point. Very nice. I'm going to share a few moments now that some of the friends have put notes together about Eric and Melanie. And I'm going to start with an experience I had with Melanie. John took a couple neighbors to a dinner in Wisconsin about 30 miles away. And he was smart enough to have the girls come pick us up and give us rides back. So I spent a half an hour alone with Melanie in the car. The question I asked Melanie was, and I said, you don't have to answer this if it makes you uncomfortable, but I said, Melanie, is your father still the most important man in your life? And there was this pregnant pause, and I knew that, okay, no matter what she says, I already know the answer, that there is somebody. And so she's told me, and we talked about Eric for most of the ride home. But when we get home, she goes, oh, wait. You hear Melanie say, oh, wait? She always says, but wait. She said, but wait, my parents don't know yet. You can't say anything. So I swore to the secrecy. I figured maybe Jessica knew as well, but I was sworn to the secrecy. And eventually we got to know Eric, and here we are today. Another thing that's very important to both of these folks is that they're very family focused. It's almost every Sunday afternoon, the Reedy driveway is full of cars. Everybody's coming home to cook, laugh, and have some merriment. And if they're not there, they're at the lake. So what some of your friends said about you was very similar. They fell into three main areas. The first is, they said about you two, they're the perfect match, parallel, always on the same team. You bring out the best in each other. That's about self, about others. You're the most caring couple they know, with each other and also with your family and friends. You're very supportive, you're very trustworthy, you're personable and sincere. Several feel very safe in sharing their most private and intimate parts of their lives with you. That's quite an honor. The third thing it says, adventurous, might be why we're here today. A little adventurous. You're easygoing and you're hospitable. Foodies, cooking, always learning, always making something. And then the word Billy's came up. I don't know what that's about, but I think most of you know. It was supposed to be an adjective. Is Billy's an adjective? It says wine and pizza, Thursday night facial snaps with masks. Whatever that is, I think that must be for the younger kids, not for the adults. And then Ashley, who couldn't be here today, I guess, she summed it up best by referring to a love verse in the Bible from Corinthians. And it goes like this. I've summarized it. Love is patient and kind. Love is not envious, boastful, nor proud. Love is not self-seeking, nor easily angered. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in truth. Love always protects, trusts, and perseveres. Love never fails. Remember that, love never fails. Melanie and Eric, did you come here freely, without reservation, to give yourself to each other in marriage? If so, answer, we do.
We do.
And will all of you whom are present here today surround Eric and Melanie in love, offering them the joys of your friendship and supporting them in marriage? If so, answer, we will. It is now time for the vows. We've come to your point in your ceremony where you're going to state your vows to one another. No other vows are more sacred than those you now assume. By keeping your vows here today, not because of any religious or civic law, but only out of the desire to love and be loved by another person fully, without limitation, your life will have joy, freedom, and responsibility. Melanie and Eric, you have each prepared your vows. You will recite them now. Melanie, you're going to go first.
Right. Eric, you are my best friend and love of my life. Your kind heart, generous nature, and wonderful sense of humor makes it incredibly easy to love you. In the past 4 years, my love has never wavered, and I promise it never will. So, this afternoon, in front of many of our loved ones, I stand before you today to vow the following. I vow to support your dreams and respect your differences. During every stage of our life, I vow to appreciate you, challenge you, respect you, support you, as your best friend and now as your wife. I vow to be happy for you when the Packers win and not make fun of you when they lose. I vow that laughter will always be heard in the house. I vow to be patient and forgiving, even when I'm hungry. I vow to keep things in perspective on the most important things in life. I vow to always adventure to you, even if our adventure is as small as walking a few blocks to Billy's. I vow that when we are old and gray, we will look back on our lives together and have no regrets. And most of all, I vow to love you. I see these vows not as promises, but also as privileges. I get to laugh with you and cry with you, dance with you and sing with you. I get to build with you, and I get to live with you.
Melanie, since I've known you, you have brought a warm, bright light into my life. When you're by my side, jokes are funnier. Moments are more memorable. Tough times are a little easier. And most importantly, I feel completely comfortable being myself. You offset my weaknesses and complement my strengths. Over the past 4 years, you've helped me know and understand myself better. Looking toward the future, there is no one else who I would rather have be my partner and equal in life. I've been lucky enough to call you my classmate, girlfriend, best friend, fiance, and with joy, today I take you to be my wife. I vow to always try to be on time, even though from time to time I may still run a bit behind schedule. I vow to support all of your dreams and ambitions. I vow to be empathetic to your feelings, emotions, and needs, and to encourage your happiness. Your endless smiles and unwavering positive outlook on life pick up everyone around you. I vow to do my best to keep our marriage fun and exciting, and our relationship healthy through good times and bad. I vow that when we are old, we will look back on our lives with little regret. I vow to be honest and to strive for clear communication, especially when communicating is the hardest. I vow to always be a good sport for surprise pictures and photo shoots, and to take great pictures with good lighting. I vow to be a compassionate and nurturing father. I vow to always view and treat you as my equal. I vow to love you unconditionally, without reservation, comfort you in times of distress, encourage you to achieve your goals, laugh with you and cry with you, grow with you in mind and spirit, always be open and honest with you, and cherish you. Together, we can accomplish larger goals, experience higher highs, and endure tougher hardships than I ever could alone.
Okay, you've declared your vows. Do you, Eric, take this woman to be your wedded wife?
I do.
Do you, Melanie, take this man to be your wedded husband?
I do. Eric, I
Good.
give you this ring to wear it as a reminder for my love to you.
Okay.
Melanie, I give you this ring, that you may wear it as a reminder of my love for you.
By the power of your love and commitment, it is my special honor and delight to declare you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. I am pleased to present to you the newlyweds, Mr. and Mrs. Sutton.
What's up, Dubrovnik? All right, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. All of you have been a big part of Melanie's life or Eric's life or both of them. And it means a lot to them, I'm sure. It means a whole lot to me. I know it means a lot to the Suttons. So thanks for being here. Eric. It's been a pleasure to get to know you. And, I saw you be like a goofy college kid coming into my life and now, becoming my son. So it's, you became a wonderful young man. And I feel towards you as I feel towards my two children. So, people ask me about, have you written your speech for the wedding? And I'm like, no, I haven't really thought about it. But in reality, I've been thinking about it for 20 plus years. So just different things through life that, maybe doesn't mean anything to Melanie, but meant a lot to me. For instance, Valentine's Day, we'd wake up in the morning and she would have cutouts of hearts from our bedroom going down to our kitchen. When she was in school, it was time to go to school, she'd hear the garage door open, and as I was pulling out of the driveway, I would look up and she would be waving to me goodbye. And that's the kind of person she is. What she probably doesn't remember, what a big thing for me was discovering the North Shore. We used to do a biannual trip up to Bluefin Bay, and she would always get a stick. Dad, let's climb up to, and see this rock area or so forth. But the biggest thing that I can tell you about Melanie's heart is she was Daddy's girl. And anyone who's raised a daughter, who's a father, who's had a daddy's girl, it's like you're the king of the world. Anywhere that I went, Melanie was always like, yeah, I'll go with Daddy, and it's like, well, I'm going to Menards. And and she's like, save big money at Menards. So she always wanted to go to Denard's. But, I mean, she was my pal. And, you know, I was a little offended today when Eric said she was her best friend. Because I thought we were best friends. But, so probably the biggest memory is I went to Europe by myself. I was with my birth parents. And I came home, and I decided to surprise Melanie and Jessica. And they were at daycare till like 5 o'clock. My plane landed at like 2. I went there at, whenever, 3 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. And I sat on the stairs, and I was watching them play in the basement. And all of a sudden, Melanie looked up and she saw me. And she went running across the room. I'd been gone for 10 days to climb the stairs. And then she stopped, turned around, and ran back and got her little sister, grabbed her hand, and she's like, "Daddy's home," So it's a big deal in my life. I didn't talk about maybe Melanie's disingenuous side. You got to be careful about that. There was a time that I found her under the dining room table. And we're looking for the chocolates, and it's like, "Melanie, where did the chocolate go?" And she has like 2 chipmunk cheeks and chocolate dripping from her mouth. "I didn't have any chocolate." Yeah, so there's a little bit of larceny in here. But the best or worst of Melanie comes on April 1st every year. And her favorite was, with our stainless steel faucet, she would get a special gray binder to put around the faucet, so when I turned it on in the morning, it would shoot in my face and all over my dress clothes, and wasn't happy. In all seriousness, I'm super proud of you. You picked out a great young man. You picked out a great young woman. I love you both a lot. And we're looking forward to seeing the 2 of you grow old, which means I'll get older. In conclusion, I'd like to do a 2-part toast. The first part would be to everybody in the room. I'd like to have safe travels, whether you're going home or whether you're extending your adventure here. Just everyone have a good time and be safe, and thanks for coming. And my second part of the toast is to Melanie and Eric, that you need to realize that you're loved by many people. People that aren't here, people who didn't have the opportunity to be here, but certainly by everybody that is here. And you need to realize it when things are tough. You have a good support group. And I wish you the best and most magnificent life that you can possibly have.
3 things were on my mind as I thought about this wedding, these families, and all the people that were here. So, first thing that was on my mind was gratitude. And certainly this week reinforces that in my mind in its entirety. But, right, everybody that's here, I mean, what a blessing, what a gift to these 2 wonderful people. Right? A couple other things, right? John and Julie have done a tremendous amount of support with this, all the way throughout. We've been tremendously blessed to have them and Melanie in Eric's life, from very early on.
in their relationship. They just took him kind of under wing, right? And it was a very natural thing. In some ways, like, wow, where did Eric go, right? But for us, as we thought about that, right, and who Melanie was as a person and who John and Julie are as people, and what all of you know about who they are, right? Incredible people. And so we're just very blessed, very thankful for that. So let's give them a round of applause. And then for Melanie and Eric as well, is bringing this together, the people that they engaged. And it's a big deal going across the pond and doing all that. So, in order to make that happen, for us to have the time that we've had, right, to share that. And I think the Dubrovnik wedding site, what an awesome idea, right, to link us all together, the boat ride, all these things, that we've been blessed by because of two very thoughtful people, two people that have really put a lot of, right, effort into making sure that it was a special day not only for them, but for the rest of us. And I think that's really key, right? Because I think out of this marriage, there's going to be a blossoming of this service to others. The things that they shared in their vows to me were very touching and moving. So that was one thought I had, gratitude, all the way through about who they were. So that was kind of one piece of it, right? The next piece that I thought about was sacrifice. I could talk about love, but I'm going to talk about sacrifice a little bit. Because love's born out of sacrifice. That's what makes it turn, right? Love isn't about what you get, it's about what you give. It's about what you do for someone else, right? And we've lived that. We've lived through those pieces. I know Melanie and Eric have. A particular story I'm thinking of, it came to mind, was shortly after they met. It was in the fall of 2015. Picture this, a gal that knows us about 6 months, 7 months. We're moving down to Virginia. We got to get to Virginia in December, right? We've got a grand caravan. Well, town and country. Okay, it's up class, right? So town and country. And we have a stowaway on board. She's blonde. She's out of Minnesota. And we're like, what are you doing? She's traveling along. She comes down on a Thursday afternoon, piles in, sleeps at some Diane and Dave's house. I think we slept, got up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Crawls into the back of a van. She says, I don't need much. I just need to sleep. So she did. She slept for 12 hours or whatever it is in Virginia, right? So we got down. We were visiting Eric because he had something kind of special going on, and she wanted to be part of that. But I thought that was really cool, and that spoke hugely to me, not because I loved the game, and I still do. Love that. But to me, it really spoke to someone with a huge heart. Someone that was willing to go the distance, right? Metaphorically, right? Jump in a car, go back, come back. She sat outside in the hotel room till 1 a.m. because we got locked out in some strange way. And I was listening today on the readings, and I thought, well, somebody's going to steal something I have, but that's okay, because I think this is really key. So I'm going to go back to this, because religion, faith is a big thing to me and my family and our family. So, right, and I think it is when you listen to this, right, it's kind of the essence. So it's love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. I can't think of a better piece to bring up, and share from a Christian value standpoint than that for Eric and Mel. So I just want to finish up with a blessing. If you want to join us, sometimes we raise hand over them, bless this couple. Okay, something we do sometimes in our faith. So, dear Lord, thank you for the gift of Eric and Melanie. Thank you for the gift of their family and friends. Thank you for all the things that you've given us, the beauty of Dubrovnik. Those people that haven't been here today, as John mentioned, those that would wonderfully want to be here but are with us in prayer. And we know that because they've reached out to us and shared with us how important they are in the lives of this couple and how much that matters. Lord, continuously watch over them, bless them in whatever way you see fit, and enable them to be the best people they can be and to be loving and wonderful parents if it's so your will. And we ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Hello, Hello. As all of you guys know, I'm Jessica, and I just also wanted to thank you guys all for being here. As my dad and Jim just mentioned, it's really incredible that 37 of you guys were able to make this trip and so show the love and support for Melanie and Eric on this big day. I can truly say Melanie and I have been best friends since day one. I've always looked up to you and pretty lucky to have a role model as a big sister. Melanie was and still is truly the best sister that I could have ever asked for. There wasn't a time she wouldn't drop anything to help or comfort me in the time that I needed it the most. She taught and showed me patience, love, and most of all, happiness. I think we can all agree that Melanie's energy is contagious and it is impossible not to feed off of her energy. From the moment I was born, I know both my mom and dad can confirm that I've always looked up to Melanie. So much so that at one point I'd only eat things that Melanie ate. I truly believe that if Melanie didn't like it, I wouldn't either. She was my older sister and all. Another memory I can't help to forget is our dinner table laugh attacks. Too many times growing up, we were sent to the basement for laughing too much and told to come up to the dinner table and said, "Come back upstairs when you guys stop laughing and can be polite." This was always so much easier said than done. Throughout our school years, Melanie was always there to give me the lowdown on everything. She helped me pick out outfits, did my hair, and was always willing to let me borrow her clothes. I was known throughout high school as Melanie's little sister, and when most people would have hated this, I loved every second of it. Being so close made it especially difficult when Melanie left for college, but luckily 2 years later, we were back at it with our shenanigans, and at this time, it was at St. Thomas. It was soon after when I met Eric. The first time I met Eric was when Melanie invited him over to our house for Sunday dinner. Before we picked him up, Melanie was quick to inform me that Eric had a huge fear of awkward silence, and he would most likely try to talk the whole time to avoid this. And boy, she was right. He was quite the chatterbox. But this was great because it just allowed us to get to know him that much faster. It was crazy to see how fast the relationship grew. Not long into the relationship, I truly felt that Eric became a part of our family, and he truly is like the brother I've never had. Eric and I have gotten so close that a few too many times we've been also mistaken as a couple. All of this said, I truly have no doubt in my mind that there was anyone more perfect for my sister than Eric. You two are meant for each other. I think we can all agree that they complement one another so perfectly, and together they bring so much love, compassion, and joy to the people around us. Melanie and Eric, I'm so grateful you two found each other, and I could not be more excited for your venture together. Cheers.
Alrighty, so I'm kind of beating the dead horse with my intro at this point, but I just wanted to start off by thanking everyone who made it. Just a quick story, growing up, Eric and I have been best friends, since I can remember, and we've had our rough patches and our smoother encounters, and one of the smoother encounters is a game we played when we were younger, when Eric still, for all of our lives, has had a size advantage on me, has always been the bigger one. But one of our favorite games, one of Eric's favorite games, was finding a tree or post and a good length of rope and tying me to that said tree or post. And I would win by untying myself and coming inside for dinner, and I would lose by not doing that. So there would be times where Eric would go inside and my mom would ask him, "Where's Mark?" And he'd be like, "We're just playing a game." For reasons, more serious reasons, other than tying me to objects and leaving me to escape, Eric has been undoubtedly the biggest role model I have had throughout my life. And I'm sure I could speak for a couple of us in this room. I've never met anyone who has a more passionate drive to just kick ass on a daily basis than Eric does. He's a go-getter, does not mess around. When we were younger, I think I was in 3rd grade, and you guys can fact check me on that. Eric was diagnosed with cancer. And at the time, I didn't really know what was going on. He lost his hair, so I shaved my head, and all was well. We were twins. We matched. I was like, hell yeah, Eric got his head shaved. I got my head shaved. All is good. And with that, it just goes to show he never played himself as the victim. He was always strong, always just fighting. And after you did that, just going into high school, taking me under your wing with weightlifting, you did become a little bit more of a meathead. As we can see currently, shirts we can't really interchange, but that's all right. You just took me under your absolutely massive wing to, show me the ropes of not quitting, show me the ropes of working out, showing me the ropes of perseverance, and you've made me into the person that I am. My first memory of meeting Mel was on a boating trip on Green Lake, if I remember correctly. Good? Whew. Phew. Wasn't sure about that one, so I'm glad I got it right. And then following that, we have a lot of memories together, some more or less memorable. Eric and Melanie's relationship became more serious. They moved into the house, and that's where their generosity really became apparent. They had every opportunity they had to give to me, they did. And now that I live in Minneapolis, my whole process of getting a job and living up there, I would not have been able to do without the help of Eric and Melanie. Even going forward after that, after I moved into my apartment, it was completely white walls, no furniture, nothing. It was, if you looked at it, you'd be like, oh, a psychopath lives here, like somebody weird lives here. It was me, just nothing there, no decoration, and they hung out with me on the weekend. Then a while later, I figured I would repay the favor and make them a nice dinner. And I was, had all my ingredients ready, and I was going over to the house, and I hit a pothole, as I would do, and got a flat tire, and, at least no more than 10 minutes later, I had my saving pit crew there, Eric and Melanie, just pull up right in front of me, and they're like, okay, what do you need? They shuttled me to an O'Reilly because I was not prepared to hit a pothole. I was prepared to make dinner. So then we drive back to the car, they get me the spare tire, and, we're all good to go on all the roads. So without them, instead of being here, I could still be on the side of that road. Probably would have found my way home, but I don't know. And this generosity goes past Eric and it goes past Melanie, and I think it can be extended to the generosity of the Reedy family as a whole. Kind of like my dad touched on, this whole vacation, this whole thing, the contributions that you guys have made for this wedding are greatly and forever appreciated. In closing, I couldn't be happier with where you two are and the future that you will bring. Which is in the near future a puppy, which I'm very excited about. Very excited about. But you guys are absolutely perfect for one another. There's not a thing that I would change, and I am so thankful to be a part of both of your lives. With that, I want to just call for a toast to the happy couple, Eric and Melanie, and their continued success and enjoyment for the rest of their lives. So cheers to them. Cheers.